You say, yeah, yeah, black people do horrible stuff to each other today. Timbo Slice, I agree with you. Black people do horrible stuff to each other right now, right this minute. In 2 minutes, somebody's finna do something horrible to another black person. I totally agree with that. I don't know if you was in here, but I was just saying we wasn't African because what we were reading right here, or what we were reading with this video right here, they was going into the genetics and saying that there's difference between the diasporans, the people that came on the transatlantic slave trade, but there's also a great genetic difference between, let's just say, Sinhalese person and a Congolese person. Even in the continent, there's great differences in the genome. And so nobody is the same, even though they're all dark races. And so we have to get out of this thinking that because we came from the landmass, we're the same as the people that sold us. And that's another thing that we don't like to look at, is the fact that it doesn't get the European off the hook, but we also have to look at the fact that we were sold by ethnic groups that were not us to the Europeans, that people that didn't want us there. You can look at right now with that return to Ghana thing, there has been black Americans that have went back there trying to start a life and have been unalived. They have talked about their negative experiences and how the people treat them. And so it's not this brotherhood under this umbrella of blackness that we all thought that it was. It's never been that. Black people are, we are horrible people. Let's fix that, Rainin. But everybody is horrible, you know? It's like this, when they talk about you damn right, home of the truth. When they talk about like say something happens by a white officer to black people, and you say, and black people protest, and then they say, well, what about the stuff that black people do? What about black on black crime? Right? That's valid, but that's only valid because that's something that we do to ourselves. What's different when another race does something to us is that it's another race. It's like an act of war. You can't just do things to other races. But we've been conditioned in America to say, well, I know they're doing that to us, but look what we do to one another. What we do to one another is horrible. It's bad. But it's no different than what other people do to themselves too. So you never hear the term Asian on Asian crime. You don't hear, white on white crime. You never heard those terms. But trust and believe, they are doing crimes to one another. They are hurting and harming one another. It's just that they have put a big screen and through propaganda when it comes to black people to make us like a big boogeyman and the scapegoat of all of the issues and woes that America deals with. We are the scapegoat. Right. We're mad in our ignorance. We mad at the sword in our ignorance. Once we understand that if we just be a righteous people, if we just stop selling drugs to one another, stop hurting one another, stop killing one another, if we just decide like we want to be a righteous people, we want to serve God, then the things that other people are trying to do to us or feel like they feel towards us wouldn't even matter. Like it wouldn't even matter. You have to remember, right out of slavery, black people built whole towns and cities. That's crazy. Coming from a people that was oppressed and in chattel slavery to building Black Wall Street, to building Weeksville, to building Allenstown, to building all of these different Rosewood, all of these different places on our own. That's crazy. Like that just shows you the greatness we have if we can get back to our natural essence, to looking at each other as community, loving one another. And at this point, we're so destroyed. We are individuals. So a lot of people, black people, don't think like community wise no more. We have become individuals. We have become people that's just for self. Just like America teaches us. It teaches us to be just for self. Be on your own little island. You got to get yours. You got to take care of yours. Don't worry about what goes on in your community. I brought it out recently. Like, if you're not worried about the kids in your community, how people, if you don't care how your people raise their children, eventually it's going to come and nip you in the butt. Eventually that child is going to grow up on a destructive path, and maybe they'll break into your house. Maybe they'll knock you upside the head and take your purse. So us not caring about the community anymore does affect us. Brother said, yeah, Black Dazzle. That's the point I'm making. There are horrible people in every race. Horrible people. Like, we call the oppressor the devil, but there's devils in every race of people. It's just that we have been conditioned to think that when we do something bad, it is the worst of the worst. Let me see. Young man Kev, he said, if I may, we've been conditioned to hurt each other from teaching us from slavery and from our current oppression. Yeah. I mean, the anger, the frustration, the lack of patience that we have with one another, that comes from how we were treated. You see how Black people are so impatient with each other now? We're so impatient. We're ready to just take someone's head off and argue and fight without giving somebody a chance, without even listening and trying to understand each other. We don't know how to settle disputes. We don't know how to fix issues. All we know is to get enraged and get angry. We don't know how to, sit there and say, you know what? I heard what you said. You know what, brother? I was wrong. Like, I got a little angry. That's my bad. And I apologize for that. Black men, we don't know how to do that no more. Black women don't know how to do that no more. Like, just say, you know what? I'm gonna let it go. I'm sorry. I'm having a bad day. You know what? In reality, my morning was bad. I got some bad news today. You know what? I'm sorry. My bad. We don't know how to do that. Not saying we can't learn to do it again. What the sister said. We have been hurting ourselves before Esau is this. Yeah, we have. But does that absolve them for what they done to us? And I'm sure Esau's been hurting himself also. The Asians have been hurting themselves. The Arabs have been hurting themselves. You see what them Arabs do to each other. You see what they do to their daughters. You see what Asians will do. Those East Indian people will do if they feel if that their children has dishonored the family. They will unalive their children. I mean, but I'm just saying, I'm not making no excuse. Of course, we've done horrible things. Like, there's been evil people from the beginning of time. There's been, bad seeds from the beginning of time. Sister says, if we become selfish, like we have become, oh yeah, definitely selfish. But guess what? You damn right. But the problem is, the thing is that we become selfish, but all that selfishness ain't gonna mean nothing if the third world's war break off. I promise you, all of that energy is gonna die down. It's gonna be gone. All of that energy about I got more money than you, I got a bigger bank account than you, I got a bigger house than you, I drive a better car than you, I know how to keep a man, you don't have a man, I'm a high value man. All of that energy is gonna die. I promise you. I promise you, all of that energy that we have with all of these discussions that really don't help us, it's going to just phase away. You remember COVID-19 happened for a split second. People were, it was a hysteria in the air and uncertainty in the air that nobody knew what was about to happen. And the store shelves wasn't having no food. Get ready for that. The way they acting over there in the East, the way Russia is gearing up, get ready for that. And I promise you, the little petty beefs that people have, the things that people say, it won't even matter anymore. It will not, it will be a whole new world overnight. And that's the Black Authentic truth.